Level 92 to 93 in 3 waves of Wrath 4. What the fuck? This is so insane. What the fuck? What? %2,000 experience gain, and this is not even my final form. Today I want to talk a bit about Twink leveling and, well, especially night leveling, because I have done it with him, so I can give some ideas of how to spec him for the leveling. But generally I want to showcase something quite insane, because it is quite obvious that when you want to level, you pick a weapon that gives experience gain. But I personally did not realize how broken sort of the Trainee is. And you can see I have a lot of experience gain here, and with some pieces we are getting more and more. And these it's getting, well, the more you go, the higher this goes. Like, you can get way more here even, and I can show you quickly. If, for example, now I take any piece really and then put Tori on there, it goes even higher. I have not even done this with Tori, I have just ran it without, and it still was pretty insane. +4 Tori here, and this probably won't show yet, but as soon as we weapon, we see it gained like 50% experience just from 4 levels to Tori. So what you want to do is you want the Sword of the Trainee, and you want it from the beginning, right from the start. While you can start with a different weapon, I picked this up at level like 20 or 30 or something, and I was like, okay, I should have done this earlier. What you would then want to do is have these 3 slots, ring, ring, and cape, with experience gain in the implicit. These are the only slots that can have experience gain in the implicits. All the others cannot have them, aside from legendary mods. However, I did not want to use all my legendary crafting, so I do actually just run it without the legendary mods, and it just does not matter too much. What you also want to do is level the Core as high as possible. Here I have put a lot of upgrades into Core, because I was using a different Core weapon before and had them anyways. But instead of having all these upgrades, and if you don't have so much spirit left, you can also just run Core gear. Like, these should be available somewhat abundant, because you don't need too much of them to fix your general gear. And I can check quickly, I do still have like 160, and I think I used about 300 yesterday just for fixing some stupid shit. And yeah, so these should be fairly abundant, so you can put these on everything. Then for the night, I went for a somewhat tanky approach, and one thing I want to show is that this works extremely well if you have all of these points, but you don't necessarily need the last point. I am using it for elemental damage here. I did use it differently over the time of my leveling, but generally this is the tree I thought is the best, or I had the best experience with. It gives a lot of elemental damage. We're using Heat Wave for the max, like for the big hits. Then more fire is pretty nice to stack burn early on. And then of course fire weapons to have fire imbued skills, ardent strike to create fireballs. You don't need to have this level, because we don't really do a lot of ancestral strikes. I just had the Slorm left and just put it in, but probably I should just take these out here and put them in there if but yeah, and I don't. I think the reason why I've put them there. And then you have Heart of the Wizard, mana on hit, very important, elemental damage, very important as well. It's just scaling damage, and then, as I said, elemental damage for health. There's a lot of options you can do here, but this tree I liked very much. Then you need some life gain on your gloves or on your gear. Generally, I do think helmet and glove can have them. I by now have quite a decent helmet because I picked a leveled one from a different character I'm not using anymore. So I have a +9 here, but generally I did only upgrade the experience pieces and then picked some pieces I had in my stash. So I leveled the most part of the character with fairly trash gear and mostly looked for elemental damage and experience gain, and then life on hit and mana on hit. These were, I do think, the most important things. Then just fix life, max life, a lot of max life. I didn't even care about resistances, but you can just go for elemental resistance armor as well. For the skills, I am running grappling hook. I was leveling with just anything really until I had grappling hook, and then I mostly transitioned into fully grappling hook. We're running long chain and captain hook to pull all the enemies inside. We're running gathered intel for more defense. We're running mighty vitality to, well, get more vitality. I should actually level these instead of the firebolts. And whatever. And then you want mighty vitality. I did want to put them. Okay, now I was wondering. Mighty Vitality, as I said, to gain more max life. And then I use Miracle Head Slam, but it's not too necessary because we don't really use Perfect all too often. But it's there, it does some additional damage, so it doesn't really hurt. You can level it up, but I didn't have this ROM yet for it. Then we have Crest Shield. I first of all wanted to just use it defensively, passively. Because the hook was just going through very, very well. One side note, early on I was leveling with, instead of these, I had Living Inferno and Lois Gratitude, and just these two, or just Lois Gratitude basically pushes you through the early stages of leveling completely alone. Like, we can quickly showcase it here. Basically what this does and what you want to do with it is you early on go, you get a few levels, and as soon as you can buy gear from the shop and put some stats on it, you should be ready for the Mage Tower 4. This is the area you want to run, the Mage Academy 4, for leveling most of the time early on. Now we are generating these balls that are flying around us, and here you have 3 of these portals that just generate a lot of experience and enemies. And I early on, as I said, was using just the fireballs and yeah, pretty much just that. And this was working very, very well, and then just always pull the enemies in. I of course one-shot them here because I'm way too strong right now. But you can see this spawns a lot of enemies, and then when you are done with the 3 circles, you just want to get out. I used this to about level 40, 45, something like that. Like level 10 to 45, I do think I leveled here. And then you just want to get out. You don't want to pick the thing up, because when you just flee, you can just start again. So this is a very, very good leveling area. For the attributes, I just went full willpower for elemental damage. I didn't really put much thought into it. You could go vitality, you could go bravery. There's a lot of options, but I picked willpower just because I wanted to. Actually, one reason was because I want to play this as a minion build later on, but I just didn't have the minion stuff early on, but still went for willpower because it's, well, buffing minions later on. kind of stupid, but I was like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, the mental aura has to be on, and then you just level. Wait, I was about to explain Crest Shield, but I just wanted to use it defensively. Completely lost my point there. But then at some point I realized this actually deals a lot of damage. I still have the defense points here in Barrage, so you cannot have less than 50 block stacks. You could probably run the others for more damage, but I was very fine with the defense. And then we run Original Use. Increased damage is equipped half your total block stacks. This is very, very good because we pretty much always have all the block stacks, or a lot of them at least. Then while block creature is equipped, you gain 1 block stack every second. This gives more shields, and then we have that when it damages an enemy, the durations refresh. I very much like this one. You can pick the other ones, but I personally do think Independence Day is pretty much the best. And then for Endurance Reflector, there might be better options in the Ascension and the Banner, but I did not look into them. So I just wanted to level and not care much about it. So we are picking Armor here. You can pick Life Region as well early on. It does help quite a bit when one is struggling with survivability. Then we have 1 block stack per second, so we gain 2 block stacks per second. Then after block, you immediately gain 15 block stacks. So basically, you jump down to you jump down minimum to 15 and instantly get back to 30, which is very strong. Then blocking triggers Ancestral Retribution. I was using this for clearing early on as well, because if you just sit in the middle and have the fireball swirling around you and you sit on perfect, you always throw down like big comets, which is very cool. And then we have self-cut. Whenever an enemy deals damage to you, he's screwed by his attack. This just makes them weaker, basically. You could as well go for Thorn Shield or Avenging Wrath, but I personally just stayed with the passive offense. Then you can go with Vibranium Shields. Whenever you block, you have a chance to stun the enemy. Both of these options aren't great because I do not like to reduce movement speed, and this is just fairly negligent. But the stun can be nice, so it's kind of okay. Then block reduce incoming damage by 100% is very strong. And whenever you gain a stack of block, you gain another stack of block. This practically keeps us very much not capped, but at a very high amount of block all the time. Then what I early on did was, actually the first staff I was running on the character was this one, because it gives a lot of elemental damage, and this one was very strong until I swapped into the experience variant. And then, as I said, went for the sort of the trainee. So the thing about this sort of the trainee, what I did not realize, I did not know, is this one can level above level 100. I'm at level 257 now. And I can show you how crazy this is, because I'm level 88 right now. Yesterday I was like, okay, I want to make a video about the character, I want to showcase it. Just putting some more thought into it, and like, I was like, okay, I have to stop now, because if I don't stop, I'll be level 100 before I make the video. So basically, the game plan is to just throw the shields into the middle and have them rotate there, refresh their duration due to us hitting a lot of enemies. And whenever you are hitting an enemy, you are triggering additional damage, which is depending on your increased experience gain. And your increased experience gain should be fairly high. And as you can see, I'm level 88. This is a Wrath 4 area. A Wrath 4 area. I repeat myself. A Wrath 4 area. And you see how much experience I'm gaining at level 89 now. This staff gets a level on nearly every wave. Sometimes 2 in a single wave. Like, this is completely ridiculous. You do have to care about Cataclysm Shadow Curse, but you always do have. I just did not pay attention to what I was picking. I usually do not pick this. And then you just sit in the middle, tank everything, if you are not cursed, that is, or silenced, and then you just gain experience and level, and your staff is leveling up with like every wave, and this is so insane. Like, I'm level 90 now. Like we made 2 levels already in this, and I'm like in wave 7. Like, this is so ridiculous. I just am running Wrath 4 to have the option to open all gates so that we can just pull in the enemies. But this is so insane. Do we have an XP power here? No, we don't set. But this is just ridiculous. And the clear is so good as well. Like with all the AoE, you just pull out half the arena or pull in half the arena into you and just kill them instantly, basically. Because you have so much damage. The thing is that Heat Wave is extremely strong in arena because you're getting elemental damage for every heat source. And every enemy that is on fire is a heat source. Which means that basically we're getting thousands of bonus damage, which just makes us deal so much damage. It just doesn't matter. You see, I'm nearly level 91 now. Like, this is so ridiculous, and my staff is level 294 by now. 95, I want to say. I mean, 96 actually. So, as you can see, this is completely crazy. And by now we are at 3,166. So the thing about this is, the higher you go, the faster you go, because your experience multiplier just explodes with every level. And you could multiply this by running Courier equipment as I show, or like as I've shown. So this is so insane. Like, this weapon actually is so much fun because you just feel the progress all the time, and it's just crazy. Also, I did show this on the, also I'm saying staff all the time because I mostly played mage. So I'm kinda wide into the saying staff, but the sword. You can do this with all of the characters, but as I did this with the knight, I was very well into how I did it with the knight, so I wanted to show one example of to spec your character for leveling. And yeah, this is crazy. I mean, I'll just proceed to level 100 here. And while I do so, thanks for watching. If you want to see more of this, feel free to like, subscribe, and, well, write a comment if this was interesting or helpful to you. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.